technology. This one was completely different. It turned my phone off. The screen went just black, you know, and then I had to start it up again. I don't know how that happened. But anyway, yeah, we lost everybody because it took a long time to get it started again. I'm not sure what's going on. Yeah, in a perfect world. And now we got nobody. Oh, now we got two. All right, well, I guess there was some questions from before. I didn't see them. I was scrolling down through them about when it punked out. But Jill says she's going to get them written down for me and find them. Dion's with us. The return of Mangalitsa Whisperer. Yes, Governor Mangalitsa Whisperer. I told the governor's story last night, and I said to Jill, do you think I should have told that story? Hello, Hildy. Welcome. How are you? How's the smoke over there? Are you still dealing with forest fire smoke? We don't have it here anymore. Must have blown away. Well, anyway. Hey, Bryce. How you doing? Bryce is my neighbor. You know, the thing about that is, though, I know he's working and I know I'm working. It's not one of those things like we really want people to just stop in to visit, you know, during the work week. I know how it is, man. I know how it is. All right, so I saw somebody had a question there, and that was Dion. So let me see. All right. When do you return your calf to the herd? Yes, Inga, hello. No smoke. What Dion's talking about there is when you're milking your family cow, you can elect to remove the calf from the cow, and then you get all the milk, right? You, the human, you get all the milk. And then you can take some of that milk. They need about a couple of quarts 3 times a day is what we're doing. They could get by with less than that, but you know, if you want them to grow fast and get a good start, that's a good way to go. Until you can get them going on a little bit of something else, like a calf pellet or a little grain or something like that, and help them along until they want to eat some grass. And when they eat some grass, yeah, I could have called it a night, but no, I wanted to come back. Sunday, am I heading for Muskegon Sunday? That must be the hog roast. So yes, you didn't miss anything. You didn't miss anything. We got cut off there, Roost Farm Alumni Coop of Michigan. You didn't miss much. We got cut off. And I hope it continues to go. We tried to open it up on the laptop. Nope, wouldn't do it. So it's just a rural internet thing. So I forgot about that, but I didn't. It must be on the calendar, and I'm sure my wife knows about it. But that's good. And then I will see you Sunday, Inga. That's cool. That'll be a fun day. I think we'll have a really good time. Roost Farm Alumni Coop. Oh, okay. Alumi Coop. This is Bud Miller. I want to know about those Aluma coops. Those look pretty good. They look better than the ones I build. They look really cool, but I need to know how much they go for, if they're priced out of my range or whatever. All right. Thank you very much. Go enjoy your pizza. When can the calf go back to the herd after separation? There is a device that you can buy, Dion, and it clips in the nose of the calf, and then it hangs in front of its mouth. And the calf can eat, but the calf cannot, when they tip their head back, they cannot suck on the mom. and they get really frustrated with it, and they'll try and try and try, but they just can't. I've never used them, but another guy that we know, let's see, I don't know if he's in the tribe or not. His name is Adrian. Can't think of his last name right now, but he would be in the tribe. If he's in the tribe, he would be the guy to ask. He's used them. And if you had one of those devices, I think it's like a $5 thing you clip in their nose. Or you could research it. I've never used them because we have the calf pen, and I will keep the calves in there and keep them separate from the herd until probably next spring. And my reason for doing that is if I put them back in with the mother cows, the big cows push them out of the way. And then the little cows get in the feeders, the round bale feeders, and I don't want that to happen because then they'll sleep in there and they'll poop in there and everything. So I don't want that. And also the calves, we have a calf feeder, so we will give them a sweet grain mix to really give them the punch that they need to get into winter. And then they'll start eating. They'll be eating hay by the time snow flies here. Let's see, they start eating grass about 8 weeks, 8 to 10 weeks. They'll start nibbling on it. You'll see them do it, and then hay too. But if they're in with their moms, there's no way I can feed the calves grain and the moms not. So we just keep them separate, and then by next spring, and the grass is getting green outside, and we start letting the cows out, we'll let the calves out with them. And by that time, they're pretty big, and they're not likely to go back to the mom and start nursing again. It's highly unlikely by then. If it does, though, you have to take corrective action. And one of those little nose things would be the way to go. The old timers used to take a knife to the tongue of the calf and cut it. I'm not going to do that. I don't like that. I don't like the sound of that at all. It would cause calf tongue splitting. I didn't like that. I've never done it. I've seen it in calves. I don't like it. I think it's a raunchy thing to do. The man that told me to do that is a raunchy guy, and yeah, he does that. So yeah, what's the best way to merge old chickens and new chickens? I think that after a while you will learn to be able to, by looking at their feet, you can tell the old ones from the new ones, right? I say that because you just throw them in, just put them in together, and yeah, they might be a little skirmish for a little while, but they'll forget about it in a day. If there is like a lot of beating up, I'm assuming that you're talking about laying chickens, because with broiler chickens, they have a lot of exposed skin, and if you put them in with laying chickens, a lot of times the laying chicken will notice that there's exposed skin, and they'll go over and they'll peck it. And the next thing that happens is there's blood. And if there's blood, the rest of the chickens will turn into sharks. And it usually happens. Sometimes they'll even peck their butt because it's their butthole, because it's a little bit brighter red, and that can get really ugly. So we don't generally put broilers and layers together. Not usually. If you were to come here now, you'd see, well, it looks like these guys are kind of together. Yeah, but they're out on the field, and they grew up as young chicks together, and so they're not likely to attack each other. Okay, this is a good question. This is El Guapo. I'll just call you El Guapo if you don't mind. It's a long name. Or if you've got something else you'd like me to just call you. What's the best breed to cross with Mangalitsa to compensate for the slow growth while maintaining as much of Mangalitsa meat as possible? That's a good question. El Guapo. Okay, all right. Roost Farm says, I like to stick the new ones in the roost at night. That's a good idea because then they wake up in the morning and they, hey, I've been sleeping next to you all night. You're not such a bad guy. And maybe they don't fight then. That's probably a good idea. I'll tell you the ones that we have mixed together. Daddy Long Bear is just getting here. We've mixed in, personally, we've mixed in large blacks, red wattles, Herefords. Personally, I've done those. The Herefords grew the fastest, but they were the poorest moms. That's just what happened here. Now, you might do it at your place and not have that happen. So I can't say definitively that, oh, Herefords are bad moms, because their mom was not, you know. But these ones, they were. They just didn't have the nutritional edge that to have good litters. They just didn't. They had problems. So they're gonna go. We're gonna call them out. The large black did very well. And large black is a fairly fast-growing pig compared to the Mangalitsa. You know, the Mangalitsa has gotten a lot of bad PR as far as being a slow-growing pig. And there's one guy that's, it seems like every time you turn around, like, when does this guy even farm? Because he is so vocal on Facebook, on a lot of these forums, the Mangalitsa forums. I can't remember his name right now. Blake, Carl Blake. And I spoke to him on the phone a couple of times over the years. And I don't really know him, but I see him say a lot that, oh, Mangalitsa's not, yep, Carl Blake, that's right. I've seen him say quite a few times over the years that the Mangalitsa pig is not a good pig to use for a money-making operation because they just grow too slow, right? And I think that people have heard that, you know, it's echoed around a lot and people have heard it. And so people kind of think that that's true, you know. Now, oh, you know what? I know what I'm feeling. I'm feeling a little dizzy right now. And that's the ivermectin kicking in. That's what it does. It makes you a little bit dizzy, and then it makes you really tired, right? Yeah, it does. So that's what that is. All of a sudden, I felt a little bit dizzy. Yeah. But maybe that's his experience. I really haven't seen that. Ours seem to grow at a pretty good rate. We keep them, rule of thumb, about a year, and we get some pretty good growth on them. I have done some mixing, like large black, red wattle, and Hereford, and the 50% crosses really do well. They really do well. They do grow a little bit faster than the purebreds. But I don't really think that the rate of growth is so dramatically less that it's worth, you know, saying it over and over and over and over, that they are a slow grower. I think it's just that it's sort of like saying raw milk is expensive. Well, it is when you put it up against, the factory farm milk that's at the store for 99 cents. But when you think about grass-fed raw milk, uh, I know people that are getting $20 a gallon for it, and there's a lot of work that goes into producing that milk, right? So it just depends what you put it up against. So I don't think they're all that slow, and I really think that for the homestead model, what is a couple of months? Really, what is a couple of months? Well, I don't know. I guess it is something to behold, because a couple months worth of feed is, yeah, it's really something. I would think if I bought shell corn yesterday, which I haven't bought feed for my pigs in a long time, but our bread contract is in a state of flux right now. The company that we do business with has had a leadership change, and they may not want to continue the contract with us, so I don't know. But we didn't get our bread this week, and so I had to buy feed, which didn't like doing that. It's pretty expensive, and it's going to cost me, I think, let's see, it's going to cost me about 75 cents a day to feed my pigs, per pig. About 75 cents, I think. Somewhere around there. And when you got as many as I have, that's a chunk of change. But even if that was the case, I'd still be okay, because I've fed them all this time. A lot of them are finished, and so if my bottom line I'm gonna shave a little off my bottom line at this point. And then we have to decide, are we gonna put as many pigs back on next year if we don't have a good source of feed? I don't know. I might just grow enough for my classes, and then enough for the family, because until I can find another feed source. Because if I'm buying feed from the co-op, your bottom line is not that good. And I talk about scrounging a lot. I mean, it's okay, but it's nothing like when you've been scrounging for all your feed needs. So I scrounge, and then I feed them my hay, and then we have our chicken processing business, so they're getting heads and feet and guts and all that. So switching over to buying feed again, that would be a blow. I might not feel as good about my profit margin in that case. I might not. And I've got pigs leaving here pretty regularly. For those of you that are Mangalitsa growers out there, we're selling them for $1.50 this year, and they've been leaving steadily. I don't have very many out there. And then anything that's breedable, any breeding stock, we sell for $500. And it's a little bit painful, but you make it back really quickly. And if you don't place a value on it, then it just kind of has no value, right? So that's what we've done there, and I think we've done okay with that. We've done okay. But I think if we didn't have the feed source, we might just focus more on cattle, because I have lots of grass, and I may even, like, we're starting up our milk shares program again, and maybe we would milk some more cows, because there's pretty good money in that, and it's nice work. Milking cows is not that bad. It's really not. I don't mind it at all. It's just something you do first thing in the morning, and then you're moving fences, and that's not that bad. I could probably cut my pig production in half, and then grow the majority of what I need, and then see if I can get a little bit more scrounging going, and then buy the rest of the feed. I'd probably be okay. So, what do we got for questions here? All right, we got everybody back. Awesome. Okay, so my answer to that was those are the ones that I've crossed them with. But I also have pigs that were crossed with. I have had pigs that were crossed with. Oh, what were they? Gee, I can't remember now. Can't remember. Must be the ivermectin. And anyway, they did good. We found that the genetics, the Mangalitsa genetics are very persistent. So no matter what you cross them with, we've not had a Berkshire. That's what we've had. We've not had a pig that came out and it's like, hey, look at pink meat. You know, we haven't had that. They always come out with red meat and the thick fat and all that stuff. So Berkshire. Yep. The cleric read my. How did you know? How did you know? All right, let's see. Okay, and Stylus is here and says, hey. Feed hay, right? Raised large blacks for a bit, and they were the friendliest pigs I've met. Would lay down for a belly rub on command. Yep. Yes, it's Carl Blake. And Daddy Long Bear has met him. I don't know what he does anymore. I haven't heard from him in a while, but I know he was always slamming Mangalitsa. The cleric, our mangas are from you, both last November, are massive, well over 300. And that's just a very minimal grain, really just like January to April. I thought they'd take 18 months, but we're going to process soon. And the cleric, you took a class from us last year, didn't you? Daddy Longbeard, I did a hog butcher class with him. He tried to sell the Iowa Swabian Hall breed of hog. Yeah, he's a big Swabian hog guy, I guess. Didn't he invent that? I think he did. I don't know where he is now, no. Okay, born last November. Yeah, the cleric. Mangas. That is true to a point because Mangalitsa, being a heritage breed, I think that's why they will eat things that other pigs will not. All right, so I think James is correct on that. And James, I wonder if I've meant to call you honestly to find out if your lethargic pig ever came around or what happened with that. I am curious what happened there and maybe what the disposition was on that animal. It would be good for us to know. I mean, if it croaked, something went wrong, but maybe ate a nail or something. But yeah, we feed all kinds of stuff to our Mangalitsas, all kinds of stuff. If I trim trees, I throw it all in there, and they'll take all the bark off trees, just about any kind of tree. They even eat pine. I was telling you guys that we had a big bloom of Jimson weed here, and that, nope, nothing will eat it because it's poisonous. Well, I had some out in the Mangalitsa pen, the sow pen, and when everything else was gone, they ate that, and they ate it. It's gone. So maybe when we eat the pork chops, we'll go on a trip or something, because that Jimson weed really is an hallucinogen, which I think I'm hallucinating right now on ivermectin. Not sure what the issue was. Must have straightened itself out then, huh? Blew over in 3 days. Well, that's good. Stylus is asking, Mark, do you feed your meat chickens grain or just grass? No, we feed them grain too. I'm not saying that you can't, but you're not going to get the rate of growth that you want. And it seems like, okay, James is saying wife gave them ivermectin. All right, well, good. Make sure you have plenty on hand for the kids. What happens with chickens if you feed them just grass is it stunts their growth, and they will stay small forever. You know, a whole season, they'll never grow up. So if you want the rate of growth that you're looking for, I think you're going to have to feed something other than just grass. I do believe. What do you guys want to talk about? You name it. Point of interest, I don't know if you guys heard this, but I think it was Tuesday. I might have mentioned this last night, but there was a flight surgeon at Fort Rucker. Fort Rucker is an Army base, and I think it's it has the most aviators of any military base in the United States. And the flight surgeon, it's a kind of a weird name, but it's actually the person that clears individuals for flying status, right? So anybody that's flight crew has to go through the flight surgeon's office to be cleared for duty if they're flight crew, right? And the flight surgeon grounded everybody who had taken the vaccine. Why? Because a young man who had taken the vaccine had a heart attack and died. Very young man, like 26 years old, in flight. And luckily there was, in the ship that he was in, there was two people, two pilots, and the co-pilot was able to take it. But here's the pilot that had a heart attack and died in flight from blood clots. And so the flight surgeon grounded the whole shebang, and what that means is that they're all going to have to go through a battery of tests before they can get back on flying status. Not everyone, just the ones that have taken the shot. And so the battery of tests will reveal a lot of data. So I'm guessing here that there was a pretty solid cadre of people behind this flight surgeon. She was a lieutenant colonel, it's not like the highest ranking person. But if the flight surgeon says you're not flying, you're not flying. That's all there is to it. And that's the way it's set up. And nobody can supersede the flight surgeon's office. You can't. You can't. It can't be done. No matter what. No matter what. There's certain criteria for operations within the military, and that's just the way it is. Sort of like leaving Afghanistan and leaving a bunch of stuff behind. That's why I still have a hard time with that. I still have a hard time believing that happened. You just never do that. You, at every level, from the lowest guy to the highest guy, you never leave anything behind for your enemy. Never. And the order to do that would be illegal. It would be an illegal order. So I have a hard time with that. We'll see. So what do you got? Okay. Have you ever tried to get winery pulp or apple pulp from orchards to feed pigs? When I raised large blacks, we fed them a ton of that. I never did, or spent grains. I never did that either. I just never had to. I know that one year we had a farm that had a zillion pumpkins that they grew, and for some reason nobody came and got them. And we went up there with my big red truck, filled it right to the brim with pumpkins, and I brought them home and dumped them in with the pigs and sent the boys out there with samurai swords and baseball bats to break them open, and fed a lot of that, feed a lot of stuff. All right, we got a nice crowd. 27 people, or 2,700 people, or 27,000 people. I don't even know. I don't know if the counter's right. Is there any other subjects that you guys would like to talk about tonight? We're probably just took first dose. Can't expect to get tired then. What? Just took first dose. Can I expect to get tired then? Yeah. Yeah. If you it depends what kind. But the horse paste. There's a good question. How soon after calving can a cow be AI'd? There's a good question. Maybe Jill knows.
What's that?
How soon after calving can a cow be AI'd?
Oh, we just looked it up, about 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
Well, they start to cycle again about 6 weeks.
There you go, Dion. They start cycling again in 6 weeks.
Right.
That book, do you have that book handy? I'll show
I
that
do.
book. That's a really good book. It's for the person that's gotten their first cow, and you know all these questions come up. I had Joe Higgins here today, and let's see. Every time he's here, he tells me things about cows.
I'll look it up
That
and
I
put a
didn't
link
know.
in the chat a minute too.
Okay.
Yeah, did you see Daddy Longbear's question?
Nope.
About apple squeezings?
Yeah.
Okay, so you did do that one, I didn't hear it.
This is a really good book. Really good book. Matter of fact, I'm going to go through it again. I have processes here that I'm doing, and then all of a sudden I look at them and I say, that's really cool. And then I want to brush up on them again. Like we're milking two brand new cows this year. And I don't know, it's a really neat thing. We're getting 8 gallons a day. By the way, we're gonna start herd shares up again, so if anybody needs raw milk, just call the farmhouse and we can set you up if you want raw milk. Okay, I'm getting a little weird. Okay, Daddy's saying, Mark, do you give your cow as much feed as she wants while you are milking them? No. I mean, all the hay that they can eat, but if you put down like a bag of grain or something, ruminants are notorious for eating too much, and then they bloat on it, and you can have some real problems. I had a cow named Penny that I had for a long time. She was a real good cow. I really liked her. And a friend of mine had a bull. And he says, well, bring her over and let, whatever his name was, Boris at her. And he was feeding bread to his cows and that he was getting from us. And so I brought her over and I said, I don't think you should do that because she's not used to it. And he says, oh yeah, okay, we won't. Well, his kids did. And so she got a lot of bread, she died. And that was it, So I lost the cow to that. So you gotta be really careful with grain and cows. No, when we're milking them, they get about a pound of a combination of things. So we don't like to feed them any animal byproducts. They're a ruminant. They're really not supposed to have that much grain anyway. And they can do really well on good grass, but you give them grain and it entices them to come in. And that's a good thing, or else, if you're just going to give them more grass when they come in, they're going to be feeling like, well, why should I come in? I mean, I don't think they really like getting milked. But a little bit of grain helps them, you know, in the wintertime, because that milk has a lot of fat and other things in it, right, that you're taking away from them. So it makes sense to replenish it. So we give them about a pound, and it's a combination of a pellet that is an alfalfa pellet, and I think 3 different grains, and then a little bit of molasses on it. So when you pick this feed up, you can actually squeeze it and it'll stick together. It's sweet feed. But there's no animal byproducts in it, or there's no any kind of byproduct of any kind in it. It's just a little bit of corn, a little bit of small grains, and then a pellet, an alfalfa pellet. And there's various things that you can get too. You can get beet pulp is a good one for them. Yeah, about a pound. So we use a coffee can, 1 pound. Or is that a 2-pound can? Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Oh yeah, goats don't really like that. Alfalfa is good to bribe with as well, yeah. The Farm Cow Handbook. That's it. There you go. It's a really good book. It's got a nice cover on it too. It's sort of like a reference book. So shows you how to set up a milk parlor and things like that. Talks about grazing, talks about making cheese and butter and things like that. I talked with a lady yesterday that's out in Oregon, and she was saying that they get $20 a gallon for their milk. And I said, wow, we've been selling ours kind of cheap then. She said, yeah, and people don't get real turned on by bargain basement stuff, but grass-fed milk is it's an event. It really is an event. When you try that, nice cold glass of creamy grass-fed milk is just outstanding. I don't know if we're gonna go to $20, but I think we are gonna go to 10. I do. Yeah, I think we're gonna do that. Right now we have a couple customers and we won't move theirs, but any new customers that we have coming in, we're gonna go to 10. And what's nice is if you know how to do some of these other things, like making cheese and butter and all that, if you have milk that no one's come and got, and you know, it like if you had a cow share with somebody and you went there and the only milk that was there was 5 days old, you'd kind of feel like, I don't know, you know, this milk's going to be kind of getting a little funky in 2 days. And it can. That's, you know, raw milk doesn't stay good forever. It's alive, you know, and it's, as soon as it comes out of the cow, it begins the degrading process, right? It when you drink it, it degrades in your system and it breaks down into all the pieces, and that's why your body can use it. It's got the fats and all that stuff that you can use. If it didn't, like regular milk from the store, every now and then I'll make the mistake of, I'll have milk, you know, I'll be at somebody's house, like my in-laws. No, I'll just have milk, and I'll drink it, and I'll get halfway through it, and my stomach will start to knot up, and I'll be, I should have done that, you know. Regular milk doesn't have the life in it that your body, that works with your digestive system to break it down, you know, to part it out. Bottle, and it looks real cool here in town, and they have milk, it's in a nice glass and everything, and it says light. So nowadays it's like lawyers write everything, you know, lightly pasteurized. So if it's pasteurized, does that mean everything alive in it is dead now? Because you heated it up to a certain point? Because that's what pasteurized means. You've killed it. Or not. Lightly pasteurized. That's sort of like, yeah, I beat my mother up, but only a little bit, you know? Only light. Like I don't hit her in the head. I don't hit her in the face, right? Just lightly pasteurized. Yeah. It's a good one. All right, what else we got? Daddy's talking about goats again. Jonathan Allen. People like me are happy to pay a premium for grass-fed milk. Well, bring it, Jonathan. Bring it on. And you know what? You say you're happy to pay a premium. I'm going to let you set your happiness level. You know, if you want to pay a double premium, you'll be twice as happy. So I'll let you set the... Okay, Sean's got one. Oh, wait a minute. This is a question, not a challenge. Do you really think soy meal can go through an animal, get cooked, and still get to your body? I'm talking the GMO grain. Yeah. I tell you what, I maybe this is not going to be the answer that you're looking for. Do I think it can? I think the things that I don't want can. I do. I really do. So, genetically modified corn, genetically modified soy. Why? Let's ask the question, why is it genetically modified? A rhetorical question, right? It is genetically modified so that you can go out there with herbicide, Roundup, and you can spray it right on it. And it's genetically modified so that it will not kill it. That's the modification that it has, right? There are other modifications too, genetic modifications. One of them is a suicide gene. Although we don't think that they actually really do that because we've taken field corn, right, that they grow, this is all genetically modified stuff, and actually planted kernels of it. Germinates, grows, and puts out a head. Puts out an ear, not a head, an ear. So I think it's more of a warning to farmers that, hey, this stuff might not work. It might not germinate. You know, so if you save this seed, you might not get a crop. Because right now, the way it is, if you go down to buy seed, you go to the co-op or the grain company or something like that, and you want to buy seed, and you want to buy a Monsanto seed, it's got a number to it, and it's a genetically modified seed, corn seed. They will sell it to you, and then you're going to have to plant it. They're going to give you a window to plant it here in where we live, and so you have to plant it between those times. And then they're going to say it needs herbicide applied to it on this day, or on or about this day. $400 for a 50-pound bag, yeah. And in order to buy that herbicide and apply it, you have to be licensed through Monsanto to do it. So you got to sit in on a class. It's a day-long class. I think you got to pay for it. And then you got to show that, and then you can get the herbicide, or you pay somebody that sprays the herbicide. So they kind of have it wired. And then there's been cases where if they find that you have some of that seed growing on your property, then they come after you for patent infringement. It's happened. I don't think it happens that much. It happened to a guy in Canada, and I swear the guy just made the route. He made the rounds, you know, complaining about it at Small Farms Conference, and everybody got scared, and everybody just said, well, we'll do what Monsanto wants. Because it used to be there was guys that would go from farm to farm, and they would clean seed and separate the seed for the next year. It was actually a service that was provided. And bag it all up for you, and then you had your seed for the next year. It's seed saving. Seed saving is a big deal. It really is a big deal. And the seed companies like Monsanto, if you're saving seed, they don't want that. They don't want that. They want you buying that seed every year, right? Yeah, they got it figured out. They definitely got it figured out. So what else we got? And okay, so the GMO thing, they're spraying Roundup right on it, right on the plants that we're going to eat. And Roundup is an herbicide, right? And they say, oh yeah, but the shelf life on it or the persistency life on it is very short. Well, okay, you can say that. And they say that, well, it won't bother you to eat it, but we have plant life in our guts. You know, that's what digests our food. So I don't really want to be ingesting herbicide into my body, into my digestive tract. I don't. So that's the problem that I have with any kind of genetically modified stuff. I know it's been sprayed down with herbicide. I know that because that's what they do. And so we stay away from it when we can. You can't always stay away from it. I mean, I had to buy something yesterday. The cheapest thing out there is shell corn. And I made the decision, well, just this one time. And I fed 2 bags up there, 1 bag over here. And I bought 500 pounds. So I have a little extra for an emergency. Daddy's going. Have a good weekend there, lad. Okay, I saw something here. James says, Jonathan Allen says, would if I was in Michigan. All right. Oh, Jonathan Allen said that. All right, James is saying, have you considered teaching a beef butchering class? Yeah, we have. And I believe that's in the cards. I think that's coming. I really do. Yep. Okay, Hildy's saying, the other day, Mark, you talked about a diet. I'm starting to feel better already, and my tinnitus is not as loud anymore, just by stopping sugar and gluten and not eating late anymore. Yeah. There's really something to that, Hildy. I would strongly recommend anyone look into what Sean is all about, Sean Baker. The carnivore diet, I would strongly look into that. There's some really good facts in there about, you know, how our bodies are really designed to work. You know, we're told that they work really well on grain and starch, carbohydrates and stuff, but they really don't. They really don't. They will work on it. They will process it, but the body gets, you know, you eat a Krispy Kreme and your body's like, what do you want me to do with this? I'll store it. we'll figure out later. And that's why you're storing all this stuff. And that's what fat is. It's stored calories. But when you eat fat, when you live off fat, your body metabolizes it really quick. And I got on the scale the other day, you guys. 215. My max when I was just before I retired was 220, and I was at 212. And I went all the way to 265. I didn't even know it. Didn't even realize it. I think, Hildy, if I were you, I would give the carnivore diet a shot and just see what happens. You know, do it for like 6 weeks, but it'd be real smart to know what's coming, you know, because it's a serious cleanse too. I mean, there's going to be a couple of times when you're going to be thinking, that came out of me? But it's a lot of fun. I'm 6'4", 215. So tomorrow, the football game that we're going to is my son's, and it's in a town that has a restaurant. And the last time me and Jill went to that restaurant, there was actual real waitresses there, you know, with real tattoos. And it was nice, you know. Had a burger and some fries. Great, great, even though I'm carnivore. That burger and fries was excellent. So I'm probably going to do it again. All right, I'm going to wind it up. We're at 52 minutes on this clock, and I think we went for about 20 minutes on the other one. But I'm going to wind it up. I'm kind of sore and kind of tired. Looking forward to hitting the sack tonight. How about this? If you guys are interested in the Homestead Hog Harvest class, go to bakersgreenacres.com and check out the class dates that we have. It's coming up soon. I guess I'll see you, Inga, this weekend, and everybody else down there at Hidden Creek. Look forward to that now. That'll be fun. What else? Get prepped. Get prepped. Get prepared. Lay in a bunch of stuff. I keep hearing it. And yeah, get prepped. Be ready. Be optimistic. Keep your vibration high this weekend, if possible. Keep it up there and just hang in there. This is a war of attrition, right? And when your morale starts to dip, it gets hard. So say, okay, what am I going to do to keep my morale up today? I know. I'm going to listen to the Beatles' White Album. Okay? So figure out something you're going to do and do it. Get your morale up. Go find something that you like to do and just do it. Go hang out with some people. Get within 3 feet of them. Have a good time. Yeah, so let's hang in there. It's the war of attrition. They're not going to get us down. They lose in the end. We win.